Right, we are going to move on to lesson 11.4. So we skipped lesson 11.3, we're doing 11.4. We are now focusing on two-dimensional shapes. So we started last week talking about three-dimensional shapes, moving on to two-dimensional shapes. So two-dimensional shapes are going to be like our flat shapes that would be on paper. So these were our three-dimensional. We're done with those for now. 2D are our flat shapes. This first page, 723, it's crossed out, you don't have to do. So we're going to move on to page 724, and we are going to introduce our 2D shapes that we are going to be focusing on for the majority of this chapter. So when we have 2D shapes, we can count the sides and vertices to name the two-dimensional shape. So we'll look at how many sides and vertices each shape has. All right, so the first shape they give you is a triangle. All right, here is a triangle. So we know if we count the sides of a triangle, we have 1, 2, 3 sides. And if we were to count the vertices, remember those are the corners, we have 1, 2, 3. So any shape that's on a paper that has 3 sides and 3 vertices, we would call that a triangle. All right, that was right up here. So now we're moving on to our quadrilateral. So a quadrilateral, we'll look at this top one first. So we are going to count the sides. So quadrilateral has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and if we count our vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice these 3 shapes down here are also quadrilaterals because they have 4 sides and 4 vertices. So quadrilateral always has 4 sides, always has 4 vertices. So you could have a really funny looking shape on your paper, but as long as it has 4 sides, 4 vertices, it would be considered a quadrilateral. And you'll record that information here. Our next shape we're moving on to is pentagon. So if we count our sides, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And count our vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a pentagon, we know any shape that has 5 sides and 5 vertices is a pentagon. And then our last 2D shape we're going to focus on is a hexagon. So if we count our sides, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So any shape that has 6 sides and 6 vertices is a hexagon. All right, so just to review, so triangle, the word tri, T-R-I, means 3. So remember, triangle, 3 sides, 3 vertices. Quadrilateral, quad means 4. So anytime a shape has 4 sides, 4 vertices, it's a quadrilateral. Pentagon, so penta means 5. So think of a pentagon always meaning 5. It has to have 5 sides, 5 vertices. And then my trick for hexagon, so this might help you keep track of pentagon and hexagon. Hexagon has an X in it, so hexa, hex means 6. Hex and 6 both have an X in it, and hexagon is the only one that has the X in it. So I just think of when I hear the X in hexagon, I know that means 6 sides, 6 vertices. Okay, after you fill out all of this up here, you'll move down here, and it says write the number of sides and the number of vertices. So you'll count the sides and count the vertices. So if you want, you can do, if you want to like highlight the sides with your pencil or a crayon or marker as you count them, so you don't count them more than once, you can. Or if you want to draw like a dot on the vertices as you count them, that would be fine. But you have a triangle, a hexagon, and a pentagon, and of course you can always use your information from up here. All right, then on the next page, 725, they are giving you our list of our shapes. So we have pentagon, triangle, hexagon, and quadrilateral. So make sure you're spelling them correctly. And then you are going to count how many sides and vertices there are for each shape, and then write the name of the shape that it is. So like this one here, if we counted the sides, if we count I'm going to start along the top. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 sides, so I'd write a 6 for my sides. And then vertices, remember vertices are like your corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 vertices. And we know our 2D shape that has 6 sides and 6 vertices would be a hexagon. So that is the shape name we would write down here. However many sides your shape has, it will always have that many vertices. So you're not going to have a shape that has 4 sides and 3 vertices. However many sides there are will be the same amount of vertices. So triangle is always 3 and 3. Quadrilateral, 4 and 4. Pentagon, 5 and 5. And hexagon will always be 6 and 6. All right, then down here, it says draw more sides to make the shape. So number 10, they want you to draw a pentagon. They gave you 3 sides. So we know a pentagon has 5 sides. So if we already have 3 sides, we have to add 2 more sides to make it a pentagon. So you add 2 more sides, however you want, to make a pentagon. And you're going to do the same for a quadrilateral and a hexagon as well. So your shapes might not be the same as someone else's shapes, because you just have to make whatever they say, but you might do them different lengths or different angles of them. But you just have to make sure then they match the rules of like how many sides a pentagon would have. So it must have 5. All right. Page 726. You only have to do 1 on this page. Number 13, Alex draws a hexagon and 2 pentagons. How many sides does Alex draw altogether? So if Alex draws a hexagon, we know a hexagon has 6 sides. And then Alex draws 2 pentagons. So 1 pentagon has 5 sides. 2 pentagons would have 10 sides altogether. So then if we add up the hexagon sides plus the 2 pentagon sides, how many total sides were there? And you'll write your answer right there. And then you do not have to do 14 or 15. And then you are on to your assignment page. So we are on page 727. Write the number of sides and the number of vertices, then write the name of the shape. So once again, they gave you the shape names over here: pentagon, hexagon, triangle, and quadrilateral. You're going to tell me how many sides, how many vertices, and the name of the shape. Of course, you can always look back at the back of that first page, and that will help remind you how many sides and vertices there are for each of these shapes. Number 4, Oscar is drawing a picture of a house. He draws a pentagon shape for a window. How many sides does his window have? So you're telling me how many sides a pentagon has. In number 5, draw and label a pentagon and a quadrilateral. So if you want, you can split this box in half. Over here, draw a pentagon and label it. And over here, draw a quadrilateral and label it. Just write like pentagon under it and quadrilateral under it. And make sure they have the correct amount of sides to make them that shape. On the back, on page 728, number 1, how many sides does a hexagon have? Number 2, how many vertices does a quadrilateral have? Number 3, use a centimeter ruler. What is the length of the ribbon to the nearest centimeter? So remember, on your ruler we were using, don't be on the inches side. You want to flip it and use the centimeter side. And then down here, look at the picture graph. How many more children chose apples than oranges? So remember, always look at your key, and it says each smiley face stands for one child. So now it wants you to compare how many more children chose apples than oranges. So you are going to take apples, the amount of apples, and take oranges away from it, and that will be your answer. So you are subtracting. And that's lesson 11.4.